This is native advertising secret number one as it pertains to Facebook. And so what I'll see with pretty much everybody that I work with is they'll have campaigns built up in their account. And this is an account for Ted McGrath that we ran some ads for. And what you'll see is if you pull up in the ad, people will always lump a bunch of keywords all into one interest group when they're starting, and they're trying to build like this massive audience base of people to show their ads to. Now that's a big no-no, because what happens when you do this at the beginning of your campaign is you don't know which of these actual keywords or interests that you're targeting, you don't know which ones are converting. You'll get, if you set up your tracking pixels right, which we're going to cover in other videos, you'll be able to tell that you are getting conversions, but you don't know which ones are producing conversions or not. And there's a big danger in that, because what could happen, and I've seen this happen numerous times, is you'll have a whole bunch of traffic will go to one keyword that isn't producing any conversions out of this group. So you're ending up spending a lot of money on clicks that aren't converting, and it just drives up your cost per conversion on the ones that are converting. So what you want to do when you first start a campaign is you want to research the interests that you want to test, and you'll want to break out those interests where you're only targeting one of them per campaign. That way you can get back your conversion data on each individual interest, and you can determine if those interests are converting or not. If they don't convert, then you want to discard them. If they do, then once you have a group of like 5 to 10 or more sometimes of interests that are converting for your offer, then you can lump them all together into one category, into one campaign, excuse me, to make managing your campaigns a lot easier. Because otherwise you can end up with hundreds of campaigns. And let me pause this for a second and show you what I mean. So I'm gonna go out to all of Ted's campaigns here, and you'll see here over the course of us running ads for him, we got his stuff paused right now. We did 118 different campaigns. And so I'm just gonna go back out here, and you'll see when we get down here where we had stuff broken out by individual keyword. And so that's how we give it that's the naming structure that we'll typically give it, is we'll have the keyword and then the ad that we're running. And so this way we broke everything out, and we were able to test and see. We ran just a small budget each day on each one just to see if those keywords would convert. And then the ones that did convert, we put into what we call a winners campaign, and the ones that didn't, we discarded. And then we just kept rotating around and testing individual keywords until we got a nice big audience base that we could continually market to. So that's secret number one, is to test your keywords, your interest groups individually, find out which ones convert first, and then lump them all together instead of just throwing a whole bunch of stuff together and seeing if it works. Native advertising secret number two, which has to do with custom audiences. So if you've been around Facebook advertising at all, you know what a custom audience is. So I'm going to show you two different things that you can do with custom audiences that are more advanced and will help you get better results with your ads. So the first thing that you can do, and you can do this right away whenever you start up your ads account, you don't need to be doing any testing at all to put this in place. And so what I do with all my clients right away, and I've done this myself, like what you're looking at here is my ads manager. These are all my audiences. So, you used to have to go into the Power Editor to do this stuff, but Facebook recently added in this audiences tab down here in your ads manager. So you can actually come in here, let me move this over, there's a green button in the upper right hand corner called Create Audience. You can click that and you can upload a file in there. So what we do with all of our clients right away is we take our house list. So you take you download your email autoresponder list. Preferably you want to start with your buyers first. And so if you've been collecting buyers, you'll want to download your buyers list and upload it into Facebook. Two reasons that you want to do that. First of all, you're going to want to run ads to them, especially if it's a different product, because those people will buy. And the second thing is Facebook has this little feature where you can create a lookalike audience based off of an audience that you create. And so when you put your buyers in here, what you can do then is Facebook will go out and it will take all the data they got on those people that are in that custom audience you created, and they'll create a profile of people similar to that. And these audiences convert like crazy into buyers. And so you'll see here, with my house list of just 500 buyers, they were able to match another 4,233,400 people that look just like that. And these, like I said, these lookalike audiences convert really, really, really well. You'll get higher click-through rates. You'll get lower cost per clicks, you'll get lower cost per leads, and you'll get lower cost per acquisition using this. So it's something that you can implement right away. Now, to do the lookalike, you actually have to go into the Power Editor for that. Sorry about that. So they just changed this around too. So they've got this little Ad Tools thing up here. Click on that. You can click on your audiences. Okay, so you got your house list in here, and you just click on it right there. And then this little button will pop up down here. And all you got to do is click this Create Lookalike Audience. Tell it what countries you want to look for. And I always select to similarity. And then you click Create. And what it'll do is it'll go out and it'll create this lookalike audience for you that match your buyer's profile. And so then what you can do is you can create ads that you're targeting this lookalike audience as your custom audience in the ad. And they work really, really, really well. Now, the second thing that you can do, and let me go back into here, is once you have all of your keywords that you've been targeting and testing, and you found the ones that are converting, now what you want to do is you want to create custom audiences based off of those fan pages and those keywords that you have identified are working for you. Now, in order to do that, you have to have a tool in order to do it. And the one that I recommend is this plugin called Data Reach that you can just put into any WordPress. It's like 97 bucks. I got a link below. It's an affiliate link. If you want to buy it through there, you can. If not, just go out and search Data Reach and get it on your own. Doesn't matter to me how you want to do it. You've done your testing and you've identified that people in your audience and your market that you're going after, one of the keywords that worked was Cosmopolitan magazine. So you can just literally type in Cosmopolitan, tick the pages box, hit search, and it's going to pull you up everything that matches that. Now, the Cosmopolitan magazine is the one you're looking for, so what I always do is you just click this little load button, and it'll tell you, it'll load the likes on the page. And so if you got a lot of them, you can tell that that's the official page usually. So I mean, look at here, we got 4,353,111 likes. Okay, so now what you can actually do is you can scrape this page by just checking that box and clicking process selected. And what the plugin's going to do is it's going to go out to that page and it's going to scrape all the Facebook user IDs of the people that interact the most with that page. And you'll see here it's just growing that base right now. And we can keep letting this thing run. It would, with a page that big, it'll usually return back well over 100,000 results. Now, the reason this is important is because these are the people that are actually interacting with the page. They're commenting, they're liking, they're taking actions on the page within the last like 90 days. So they're the most active people on there. And what you can do then is you'll be able to from here, you can, I'm not going to go through how the whole plugin works, but you can actually download a text file of the UIDs, and then you can upload it into the custom audiences section on Facebook, and then you can run ads to that. And so after you've got those keywords identified, you'll want to go through and use a tool like Data Reach to scrape and get the user IDs of people that are highly engaged on those pages that have already been converting for you, because now you're going to take it and you're going to go get the hyper responsives, and then you push your ads out to those people. Now, what I do when I'm uploading custom audience lists is I keep a key, and I label them list 18, list 17, and then I've got a little key that will indicate, you know, list 16 would be Cosmo, for example. That way Facebook can't tell that I'm scraping, you know, fan pages and stuff, because it's kind of a gray area right now. You could get in trouble for that. But these custom audiences work really, really, really well. And so then what you'll want to do is, you know, like I said, after you've gone through and gotten all of your keywords that are working, you want to create a custom audience and then create a campaign targeting that custom audience as well, and you should see a significant bump in your conversion. So let me show you how that applies to a campaign here. This is an account that I'm managing for digital marketer, and you'll see we've got two custom audiences. We've got the digital marketer buyers that we remarket to, and then we've got custom audiences based off of the keywords that we're targeting. And you'll see across the board the numbers are the best in each one of these campaigns. So we've got the highest click-through rates, we're getting our lowest cost per registration, and our most amount of leads out of those custom audiences. So you know, scraping those, and you don't want to run exclusively to the custom audiences once you've figured out your keywords. You want to keep running to them because it expands your audience base. But just layering this in as another campaign that you're running in addition to that is just going to increase your results and give you more options to run. So that's my take on the custom audiences. Just to kind of recap, you'll want to upload your buyers list, create a lookalike audience off of that, and then after you've tested all your keywords in the get-go, then you can start using a tool like DataReach to scrape custom audiences and run separate campaigns to those custom audiences as well. To this video, we're going to be talking about native advertising secret number 3. Before I reveal that to you though, let me give you a little bit of a backstory to illustrate this through a campaign that I'm running for Ted McGrath. So really this is something that pretty much everybody does, and I just kind of discovered how to fix this recently through just sheer luck almost. Basically, you know, the way we've always done campaigns, and this is how I see pretty much everybody that I come across doing them, we'll create a campaign where we're targeting the demographics of the client, and most of the clients want to target both men and women. Okay, so what we'll do is Facebook gives you the option of breaking those out individually, but usually we'll just lump them all together. And that's what we've always done for everybody, and we usually get some pretty good results doing that. And you know, the interesting piece was with Ted in particular, you know, his thought process was that most of his clients were actually women, and that the people that were responding to him were mostly women, and they wanted to target women first, but we weren't getting too good of results with that, and we wanted to expand it out, so we went with both men and women. And you know, this was our last ad that we ran with both men and women, and you can see some of our numbers here with leads, cost per lead. Those are all opt-ins, registrations, and cost per registration. That's, you know, getting people to apply for a strategy session with him. Now, what I decided to do was break out the campaigns and do what I call gender banding, and that's to test the ad to men and women individually, so we could see who was actually responding, and we could eliminate campaigns where certain genders weren't responding. And so this is how we did that. So we went with the next ad, and we ended up breaking up all of our audiences, and these are sliced up a little bit further because I'm going to talk about that, the other layer to this in the next video. But I wanted to just show you how it broke down between men and women across all of the different targeting options that we found. And so we discovered that men were responding better to Ted in terms of the amount of applications than women were. So we totally busted his idea that women were his prime targeting option. And then what we were also able to do is we were able to identify which segments the costs were too high, and so we were able to then eliminate those from here. And we're also able to identify ones where they weren't converting into the actual end goal, which was the registrations at all, and we were able to completely wipe those out, so we didn't waste any money on those campaigns. And so you'll see here, because we were testing, some of these are higher than on the other page here, because we had 83, 81, 213, 213. Some of these are a little bit higher, and we eliminated those. But then we've got quite a few that are substantially lower costs of the end goal conversion. So by doing this, it allowed us to identify, which genders were converting in each of the different individual targeting options that we were going after, because it actually ended up being different in each targeting option. And it allowed us to eliminate wasted ad spend while also maximizing and scaling the different targeting options and genders that were working well together. And so that allowed us to really take the campaign to the next level, get a lot more people coming in, control the costs, and increase TED's ROI. Four is layering in age bands on top of the gender bands. Now, as you can see, this causes you to have quite a few different campaigns, but it'll give you massive, massive, massive insights into who's actually converting and who's not converting, so that you can make smarter decisions, you can spend your money more wisely on your campaigns. So, it totally blew our minds, because, when Ted first came to us, he thought that his target market was females 25 to like 40. And we found out through this that, women 55 plus really responded to him. Men 25 to 34 were responding to him better than, in more volume than any of the other options that we went to, that we tested here in this particular group of people. And so what we drew from this conclusion is Ted is in this age range. And so people that were in Ted's age range and were men actually responded better to him than females do. And I think it has something to do with they identify with him and they want to actually be like him because they see him being successful, and they're in this audience that he goes after. So by breaking all these out, we were able to further narrow it down beyond just the gender to specific age ranges and really thinly slice the market. Now, I'm sure you probably all know who Dan Kennedy is, and he always talks about that specific terminology of thinly slicing the market. This allows us to get really smart with who we're advertising to, and we can really go after those people. Now, what I want to do is I want to show you really one of the beautiful things about Facebook and what makes it so awesome, because no other advertising platform allows you to put all of this demographic information together, thinly slice it up like this really easily, and then layer on psychographic stuff with the interest targeting on top of it. That's what makes Facebook so awesome, and that's what makes it convert so well when you piece these things together. So after you've got your keywords tested, then you want to break up your campaigns into gender and age bands on those keywords, so that you can really thinly slice and narrow down who you're going after. Welcome to Native Advertising Secret number 5. In this video, we're going to talk about putting day parting on your Facebook ads, and I'm going to walk you through what kind of results you can get from doing this. So what you're looking at here is a campaign that I've been running for a client since January 16th of this year. Now, it shows it's inactive right now, and the reason being is that we have the day parting turned on. But you can see, the spend that we've had. We're rotating a couple of different ads in this campaign. You can see the spend that we've had across each of these different ads, and then the click-through rate that we're getting, which is just phenomenal, especially for that long of a period of time in Facebook, which is giving us, really low CPCs on these ads. Now, what you're going to want to do day parting is, first of all, you're going to need the Quia software. I'm going to walk you through how to set that up in Quia when you do get that software. But what you want to do first with your ad campaigns is you want to make sure that you got some way in your CRM system to look at timestamps for when people are converting. So with this particular campaign, what we're doing is we're driving people into an application for a strategy session. And so the client is using Infusionsoft. So if we go into here, what we did is on his application, we have it set to create an opportunity record so that it timestamps when that opportunity record was created. And so, you know, this is just over the last year here now. We've had 137 of these applications, and you can see all the timestamps on here. Now, what I personally did was went through and analyzed the window on these timestamps before we put the day parting on, and I found a very specific window for when 90% or more of these conversions were occurring for the client. And I'm able to see a window like that with every client. So you'll be able to find some type of pattern in the time frame of when people are converting on your site during the day. And so then what you want to do is take that window of time and use that to set your day parting schedule in Quia. So when you get into Quia, it's got this campaign manager down here, and you can take all of your campaigns that are live. You can check this little box right here, and then it's going to give you all these different things that you can do. Like you can rotate the ads, you can put these different rules on the campaigns, but the scheduling one is the day parting one that we're talking about. Now this is Eastern time, and it's military time, so this is this is 3 p.m. Eastern to 3 a.m. Eastern. So when I analyzed all of these opportunity records, 90% of the, or it could be a little bit more, it was just kind of like a rough estimate, of the applications that we were generating were coming in during this time window. So what I did was I just went and set this schedule like this. So that's why, right now it's actually 9 a.m. Pacific. So that's why you'll see the campaign is showing inactive right now. Because what Quia does is it'll turn it on automatically at 3 p.m. Eastern and then turn it off at 3 a.m. Eastern. So this time of the day, the ads are not running because people aren't converting during that time. Now, what that does for Facebook is it shrinks the time frame that they have to show your ads and use up your budget. Because, when you set a daily budget on your campaign, Facebook wants to get that money out of your pocket into their pocket. And especially if you've got good stats on your ads, they're going to show those ads a lot because they want to get that money from you. So when you compress the time frame, what happens is your ads show more frequently during the time that people are actually converting. And so not only does that help you get more conversions, it does actually improve your stats as well, which helps your overall costs on your campaign and everything. So by adding this day parting, what it'll allow you to do is maximize your ad spend. You're going to get better stats, which will lower your costs. It'll lower your cost per click, your cost per lead, your cost per conversion, whatever that may be, if you're selling product or if you're generating leads. And it'll just make everything way, way, way more effective. So if you're not using day parting, I highly recommend that you go out and get the Quia software. You can check the resources tab. We got links for you out to that, and implement this right away on your campaigns. This video, I'm going to show you native advertising secret number 6 as it pertains to Facebook. Now let me give you a little bit of backstory before I go into it. So, I've taken a lot of Facebook courses, and you've probably seen some as well, and a lot of them talk about how you need to change out your ad frequently. And that may or may not be true. In some circumstances it is. But with this secret, I'm going to actually show you how you can take one set of ad copy and you can actually run an ad as is for 2 to 3 months without making any changes to it. Now, this is only going to work after you've done some testing and you've proven that your ad copy is converting at the levels that you want it to convert at. You'll also need to have done some testing on your images to find out how images work right, what images are working right for your market. So it's not something you can do right out of the get-go, but once you know, which targets are working for you, you've got some images that have proven to work, and you've got ad copy that's proven to work, this is a way that you can automate a campaign and basically just let it run hands-free. And we've done it for as long as 2 to 3 months in a lot of circumstances. So to illustrate this point, I'm going to walk you through a campaign that we're doing for Brian Tracy right now. You'll see as I'm recording this video, these ads are active right here. So what I'm going to do is go into this campaign right here, and I'm going to show you how we structure it. So basically what we do is once we've got ad copy that is working, I'll create 3 different versions of the ad. And the ad it's the exact same ad copy, so we're using the same exact ad copy. The only thing we have is a different image in there, okay? So it's the same 3 ad copy, same targeting options, just a different image in each one, okay? Now, what we're doing here is we're using a piece of software to automatically rotate those ads around on a regular basis. So what it does is it'll actually pause the 2 other versions of the ad, and let me just shrink this down here so you can see that. So this software will pause 2 of the ads, and it'll turn one on each day, and then it rotates them around at a schedule that we choose. Now the software that we're using for that is called Quia, and this just links right up with your ads account. And so you can go into any of the ads accounts that you manage if you got more than one of them in there like I do. And you can go into your campaigns. And once you got your campaigns up and going, you can select them from over here. You can just click on one of those little things right there. And let me pull this up here real quick. I just had to pull my screen over so I could see where the little button was. And you'll see there's all these different things that you can do. We're going to actually get into each one of these pieces in the software in some of the other videos. But there's one right here called ad rotation. So you only select one campaign at a time, so we just check it right there. We'll click on ad rotation. And what I'm actually doing is having Quia tell Facebook to rotate the ads every day. We're going to show one ad each day. And so then what that allows us to do is just cycle through these ads to the same audience base. And so they're not seeing the same exact image, and that's because that's the biggest piece. It's the image that actually will drive whether an ad gets fatigued or not. Okay, so you've probably heard that term, ad fatigue. So that happens if you're running, one ad with the same image, hardcore for a long period of time. It'll burn out after a couple weeks. But when you use 3 different images like this and you rotate them around, and you can do it every day. We've done 3 days. We've also done 7 days, and I haven't really seen much of a difference. I've actually found that I prefer to have it rotate every day because the Quia software is not perfect, and so I found when we stretch it out a little bit further, sometimes it'll leave all the ads paused in a campaign, and so it may not run for a couple days if I'm not checking it every day. I found it's a lot more accurate when you have it on the one day. So that's why I leave it there, and that still allows us to run the campaigns for a long period of time. So that's exactly how this works. It's just you have to have the piece of software. Once you have your copy tested, you've got what images work, and you've got your targets tested, then you just put three ads in the campaign. It's the same copy, just a different image, and then you set the ad rotation here in Quia to rotate those ads around. Now, this campaign, we just recently changed out the ads because we ran the initial ads for quite a while. So let me do this. I'm going to pause this and show you something else real quick here. Okay, so I'm going to come back here and you'll see that, let me just change this to lifetime here. I started this campaign, this is ad 2 on February 26th. So, and this is a spreadsheet that we use, that we send out to all of our clients. So this is Brian Tracy's stuff here. What we did is we started with him on December 19th. And so we did December, January, February. So we ran the initial ad, the first ad, using this same rotation process from December 19th, because the first ad I created just came out of the gate just crushing it. So I did just like I got here, I set it up with 3 different images, 1 ad copy, and we had the rotation in place. that ad just started crushing it from the get-go. So I put up campaigns across the board with 3 of those ads, just like in this current campaign that's running right now. Just different images, different copy. And we rotated those around from December 19th all the way through February 25th without touching them. And it produced results after results after results. But what happened is you'll see here, we started off, you know, $2.23 in opt-in, $26.95 for a strategy session. Then January, $2.32 and $28.95, so the numbers held pretty strong. But then you'll see in February, especially when we started to scale, the numbers started going up, 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 and up. And you'll see by the 24th, you know, we were running, you know, $5 plus in opt-in, and, you know, pretty high on the strategy session. So that once we start getting above this range, that's when I decide we need to change out the ad. And so I changed out the ads on the 25th and 26th, and you'll see we had an instant massive drop. And as of right now, this is our current stuff. So we've actually, with the new ads, we've been able to lower our cost per lead quite a bit and scale our apps while keeping a good cost per application on the back end. So you can see the results that you know, the ad rotation will do, and how long you can keep running an existing ad just by simply applying this one little tweak using the Quiet software. To video number 7 in native advertising secrets, what we're going to be talking about here is headlines with your ads. And my ad just disappeared on me, so let me pause this and refresh it. Okay, so the headline is actually the second most important part of your ad after the image. And we're going to talk about images in future videos. But there, you know, you'll see all kinds of different headlines on ads. You'll see people putting huge amounts of text above the image. And we've tested all of that stuff. And there's really basically 2 headline formulas that get attention and actually get the prospect in the right frame of mind, so that when they click over, they're open to your offer and they'll convert a lot higher. So this one is an ad that we're running right now for Scott Yancey. He's the star of A&E's Flipping Vegas. And this is using the how-to formula with a big benefit, okay? And so it's really simple. It's just one line of text right here. You know, and this is all taken right from the benefits that his book has. So it's how to make insane money in your real estate market right now, okay? So we have a how-to, then we have the benefit, which is make insane money. And then we have an escalator where we're talking about how they can do it right now. Because one of the big fears that prospects have is that they're going to learn something that doesn't work right now. And so we're kind of taking away that fear. It's part of this little formula here. But it's basically, the formula is how to, big benefit, and then putting some type of time frame on it so that it shows that it's working now. This headline formula works across every market that we tested in, and it's really good for, you know, info products, books, and things of that nature. All right, so the other headline formula that I'm going to show you is pretty similar. Couple of other changes to it. Now, this is an ad that we're running for a client called Kendall Summerhawk right now. And so basically this one is, what we're trying to do is start a conversation with the prospect. So we're actually asking a question. So, you know, would you like to learn a simple 3-step process to designing, marketing, and pricing lucrative VIP days without having a big list for free? And so we're popping this up in people's news feeds, and we're asking them a question right away. And we're asking them if they want to learn something, and we're being really specific in here. So do you want to learn this simple 3-step process to doing all of this? Now, we know that this is something that the marketplace really wants. So we're asking them if they want to learn something that we already know that the marketplace wants. So the formula is, do you want to learn something that the market really wants? And then it's without a big objection that the marketplace has. So we know that in this marketplace, the objection is they don't think that they can do what we're promising to show them unless they have a big list. So we're telling them that they can do it without a big list. So we're taking away that objection right there. And then we're telling them we're going to do it for free. Okay, because the presentation that they're going to register for will actually show them how to do that for free, and then they can buy into a product that's going to help them do it faster. So the formula is, do you want to learn, or would you like to learn? And then a big thing in the marketplace that the market wants to learn, minus a big objection that they have, for free. And this formula works very, very, very well across any market, especially where you're teaching something on like a webinar, or maybe in a case study video. This formula works very, very, very well. And so we basically use these two headline formulas across every market as where we start. And then, you know, there's other formulas that you can get into from there, but I mean, you can do very, very, very well and make a lot of money just sticking right into those two formulas and then playing around with the language that you use within that formula. So it's pretty basic. Go ahead and use those two types of formulas in your headlines on your ads, and you'll do very, very well. And I'll see you in the next video. Facebook native advertising secret video number 8. So in this video, we're going to talk about the copy of your ad. And if you've been around direct response marketing for any period of time, you've probably heard the debate about long copy versus short copy. Now that's typically pertaining to the length of the copy on your sales video or sales letter. And you know, you'll hear a lot of the old school direct response guys always say that long copy always wins out, which from my experience is typically actually true. Now, one of the unique things about Facebook is it gives you the opportunity to actually have long copy and short copy in your ads themselves. And so what we wanted to do was test out to see if having more copy in an ad or less copy in an ad would actually produce more results. And so we actually have a couple of campaigns here that we ran for Ted McGrath. This is to the exact same audience base, and I'm going to show you the long copy version of the ad right here first. So this is the actual ad. Let's take a look at the stats. So we spent $138.35, and actually let me pull that back down. We had a 0.519% click-through rate, and we had one conversion for a $97 value, one application. We had 17 leads. So we were paying, you know, roughly, I think that's roughly $8–9 a lead here, and we only got one application conversion out of it. We valued those at $97. This was not a product sale; it was for a strategy session application. So let me show you in the actual news feed, because you can click this see more. So we had a little bit longer copy in here. So we had some bullet points, a couple of calls to action, along with a short headline. And then this is just a picture of Ted right here. So what we did then was we wanted to test the short copy. And so what we did is we just removed everything from the headline, or below the headline. Okay, so it's just the headline. We did change up the image on this particular ad, but the rest of the copy on the ad was exactly the same. So we removed all that copy from there. And this ad ran for quite a bit longer because it was producing really well. We spent $569.19, got 128 leads. We had, you know, quite a bit of an improvement in the click-through rate, and then we had $485 worth of conversions. So that's 5 applications that we got out of this particular ad. So it performed quite a bit better across the board. Now we've run this same test with the image in isolation as well, so we've got the same image on the ad, and the short copy always wins. I just wanted to show you this one because it was more of a stark difference here. But again, you can see it's the same audience base, you know, same copy essentially on the ad. Let me just pull this off. So we just have this part here, and then the stuff below the ad was the same. So this performed way, 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 way better for us. So when you're doing your ads, just keep it simple. You know, short and to the point is always going to be best on Facebook. So have a short headline, Don't get into creating these big, long posts and putting a lot of extra copy in there. It just distracts people and doesn't get them to take the action that you want them to take. This is going to be native advertising secret number 9, which is retargeting or remarketing, as some people call it. So there's a couple ways that we do it when we're working with clients. Facebook recently just opened it up so that you can actually create your own remarketing pixel within their system. And so when you're, before you even start your ads, you want to go in and create this pixel, and then go ahead and set it up on your website so that what happens is that when people visit a page or a set of pages, however you want to establish this cookie, it'll put a cookie onto their browser, and then you can actually have it remove if they take an action that you want them to take. So let me give you an example of basically how we're doing it with all of our clients. So we'll put the retargeting pixel on the sales page. So for most people, it'll be like their VSL like this, or a case study video, or a squeeze page. It could be if we wanted to retarget that, but in most cases, it's going to be like the sales page, okay? And then inside the cookie, or inside the pixel, you can actually set it to remove when they take the action. So if you're putting it on a sales page and they go to an order page, you got some kind of thank you page or upsell page in your funnel after that, you can set it so that if they hit that page, meaning they bought, it'll remove that pixel. So let me show you how this works here. So there's this little create audience button in here. When you come into your ads manager in Facebook, you can click on audiences. There's this green create audience button right here. And then what you can do is just click this little option for a custom audience from your website. Okay, so we'll just click on that, click create audience, give it a name. So we'll just call this test. Your pixel's right here, so you'll want to copy that. Now, they give you some of these options. It defaults to all website visitors. I would highly recommend against using that option. You want to do it for people visiting specific pages. And so here you can put in a full URL to your sales page, or you can put in like just a keyword. So if your sales page has VSL in the URL string, you can just put that in there, and that way it'll pull anybody that hits a VSL page, and because that way if you've got more than one VSL, it will tag them if they hit that page. Then what you want to do is select another one and choose doesn't contain, and then whatever your page after they order is, a lot of times it's a thank you page, so it'll say thank you or thank-you or something like that. Put that keyword in there, or again, you can put the full URL if you want to just be 100% accurate. I found that the keywords tend to work better, especially if you've got multiple variations of the page. Then you want to set out your cookie so that it stays on their browser for 180 days. And just copy this code right here and click create. It's going to create the audience, tell your audience is ready, click OK. And then you just give that to your webmaster, or you go in and install it yourself. It needs to go in between the head and the closing head tag on your page. So once you got that in there, it'll just start building this audience of people, and then you can actually come right here and you can create an ad right from here to that audience. Now, what I tend to see working best is you really want to get the audience up to at least 1,000 people before you start running the retargeting ads, because it needs to have enough people that when it displays, you can get some good traction on your ads. Because if you don't start getting a high click-through rate, Facebook isn't going to show your ads right away. Now, what we do when we set the pixel up this way is we just simply create an ad that says, hey, I don't understand why you didn't take me up on this offer the first time, because these people didn't buy, and so here's a chance for you to get this again. Really simple copy. We'll usually include an image of the actual product, and then there's just a call to action for them to click, and the ad has a link that goes straight to the order page. So we're just driving them straight back to the order page. A lot of people make the mistake of going out and resending them back to the sales page. You don't want to do that, especially if you're using a VSL with a timed button on it, where people have to wait 15-20 minutes before they can even click to go to order, that really irritates people. So you want to just drive them back to the order form, and you'll have a really high ROI. Now, I want to show you another platform that we use called AdRoll. AdRoll is another way that you can retarget. They'll let you retarget into Facebook, but you can also retarget on other websites across the entire web. And you use banners for that. So we use AdRoll to get further reach beyond Facebook, and we'll use the Facebook pixel to remarket onto Facebook. And so these are some stats from a campaign that I ran. We ended it right at the end of March, because this was for a launch, and that's over right now. But you'll see, we've got 375,000 plus impressions, 789 clicks, 56 total conversions. So we spent $985.54. We made $2,158 for a 220% ROI. So, you can just see from this that, remarketing is very powerful. And I would highly recommend that you go ahead and do a combination of having Facebook and AdRoll, so you've got reach back within Facebook and outside of Facebook. And again, all we did here was you can set the URL parameters on your cookies so that they hit the sales page. We take it off when they hit the thank you page after they order, and then we just created banners with copy, just like I talked about for Facebook. It's the exact same thing. It's just banners, and we just drove them straight back to the order page. So there you go. That's native advertising secret number 9, remarketing. Advertising secret number 10. Now in this video we're going to talk about images, and specifically what we're going to talk about is what not to do with your images in your Facebook ads. So if you didn't know this, the image on your ad is actually about 70, maybe 75% of the importance of the ad. It's actually going to set up and pre-frame your offer so that people will be ready for what you're offering when they come through the funnel. And it's also going to be the piece that attracts the eyeballs and will get people to actually click on your ad. And so a lot of people you'll see a lot of people doing stuff with the ads where they'll put like big bright borders on it, or they'll have, really weird pictures and things like that. And, I got to thank my good buddy Justin Brook for this one, because he talks about this a lot, and I wanted to test it out for a client. So, Justin says, don't put the bright borders on, don't use the weird images, because what happens is you're going to attract the wrong type of clicks, okay? And so I wanted to test this out on a campaign for Brian Tracy. And what you're looking at here is our first iteration of an ad that we ran all the way through, actually it should have been January. Let me readjust this here. I just want to get January's numbers. Okay, so this is all the way through just the month of January. And you can see across these different campaigns, we had a cost per lead or opt-in ranging anywhere from $1.44 up to, over $3, okay? And then we've got cost per registrations for applications anywhere from $23.85 all the way up to $302. So our cost per action, it actually looks like we had some at 19. Our cost per action ranged quite a bit, and it was, from really low all the way to really high, so stuff was all over the board. Now let me show you what the actual ad looked like here. And we have 3 different variations of the ad in here. And what I wanted to test was actually having borders around the ad. So you'll be able to see the ad right here once it pulls up. There we go. So we used this picture of Brian here. We had a green border on that ad, and then I believe we had a yellow one on this one. Yep, so we had a yellow border on this ad, okay? So coming back to the results, you'll see they were kind of all over the place. Pretty good in some categories to really bad in other categories. Now, what I decided to do then was change the ad to ad 2, which did not include borders, just had pictures of Brian. And let me adjust the date range. We just ran this in February, so I'm gonna just put the February dates in here. And look at that. we ran quite a few more campaigns, and then we had cost per leads as low as 91 cents in some campaigns. And then our high end was $2.16, which across all of these campaigns we only had one. So if you remember the last stuff, we had all the way up over $3 a lead. And now if you look over here at our cost per application, we have nothing higher than $78. So what happened was we significantly lowered our cost per lead and our cost per registration by pretty much just simply removing the borders. So let me show you what the ad looks like in these campaigns. Now we did use a different picture of Brian, so let me just show you that. But it is just a picture of Brian, and there's no border. Okay, so just by removing the border and using a very similar image, it's just a picture of Brian in a nice setting in each one of these, we were able to significantly lower the cost per lead and the cost per action on the back end, which are the most important metrics. So no matter what, do not put borders on your ads. It cheapens your ad, just like Justin says. It cheapens your ad. It gets the wrong kind of clicks on the ad, and it'll actually bump up your clicks, which are people that are just interested in seeing what's on the next page, and they're not actually going to take the actions that you want them to take and move further into the funnel and end up converting for you. So it just burns up your budget with the wrong kind of person. And we've tested it on other campaigns with the weird images of, like, babies with crazy eyes and ugly looking people and stuff like that. And the same thing happens with each of those types of little tricks that a lot of other people will say to do. So just stay away from that stuff, and you'll do really well with your ads. So actually in the next video, what I'm going to do is talk about different types of images that do work really well and how to use them to pre-frame people for your offer. Native advertising secret number 11. We're going to talk about the Facebook type of images that will actually work. And we're going to place an emphasis on the type of images that pre-frame your traffic to be ready for your offer, so that when they actually click through, they have a much higher chance of actually buying and converting whatever way that you want them to convert, whether it's just opting in or actually buying. So in the last video we talked about image no-nos. So what I want to talk about now is just a few different things that you'll want to do in your images. So we've tested out all types of images, and if you're promoting something where there's actually a guru or a face to the product, an image of that guru is the place you want to start. And you can even just have any type of nice looking picture of that person so they're recognizable. That would be like your base control where you start. Also, things that work really, really well are pictures of the product itself. And then what you're looking at right here is an ad that I'm doing for Scott Yancey right now, where we're actually taking and combining those elements together, and we're seeing really great results. So I'm just going to kind of walk you through this image right here. So this is a picture of Scott with his Lamborghini that it was on his fan page when we took it over, and we're promoting this book of his called Go Time. And so we've got an image of the book, we got the image of Scott that was right off of his fan page, and then we also inserted this free starburst to kind of draw some attention to it because it's a free book offer. So this has got a lot of great things going for it because, one, he's recognizable. Two, the car actually creates the pre-framing because it's a lifestyle type image. So what we're talking about is making money in real estate. And so this is like, it's kind of a subtle social proof and lifestyle type image that shows that, hey, look, he's actually making money in real estate and he can teach other people how to do that right now. So there's very subtle psychology that's going on with this particular image. So if you can find a lifestyle image that is congruent with the message that you're offering in the ad copy and in the product that's being offered on the landing page, that's going to be a total gold mine and a total winner for you. So this is the type of image that we're seeing working extremely well. It's all based on time-tested, proven direct response image testing in magazine ads, on television. I mean, this is the exact kind of thing that you'll see across all kinds of direct response ads, and that's why it works really well. So you'll want to make sure you're using pictures of people, the person behind the product, the actual product itself, and then lifestyle type stuff to really pre-frame your traffic. So let me just show you some of the stats on this ad. We actually just started this one a few days ago, but you'll see we're getting a click-through rate of 1.537, only paying 52 cents a click. And we're generating quite a few book sales for them. The report isn't up right here yet, but I know this ad is performing very well for him. So again, this is really what you need to do with your ads, is make sure you've got pictures of people, nice classy pictures that are recognizable. You got an image of the product if you can work it in there, and then lifestyle type stuff. When you combine all those elements together, they work really well. And then you can do those individually as well. You can test just having a picture of a person, just a picture of the product. You can have a lifestyle type picture. All of those things work, and then they work really well when you combine them together. So go ahead and go out and start implementing those elements onto your ads. You're going to see your click-through rates go way up, but you also see your conversions on the back end go way up, and you'll have a nice ROI with your Facebook ads. This native advertising secret is number 12, and I call this how to scale your budget without getting screwed. So once you start having campaigns running, naturally what you want to do is start to scale the campaign. You want to get more traffic, more leads, more conversions, more sales. It's very natural. And so what most people will do is when they get an ad and an interest group and targets that are working, they'll just start bumping up the daily budget. Now, to illustrate this point, I'm going to show you why that's actually wrong and why it doesn't work in Facebook. I've got some theories on it, which I'll talk about, but I haven't been able to prove if the theories are exactly right. But the theories behind it don't matter. I'm just going to show you how this really actually works. So I've been running campaigns for Brian Tracy since December of 2013. And what we did was we started with a really broad base campaign. We had like 12 different interest groups that we were targeting. And when we start off, we always start with a $10 a day budget. And they just wanted to keep it low to see how things were going. So everything progressed really well. And so we actually, by January, we had found that we had 6 groups that were converting into leads and registrations for his product. And let me kind of adjust some of this stuff here while we're doing that, so you can I can get everything on the screen here. We ended up with 6 campaigns that were producing results in the range that we were looking to achieve. And so we ran them all at that $10 a day budget through January. And so you'll see here we had 6 campaigns. We spent $310 almost on all of them. We were a little bit short on this one. So it's $10 a day. You can see our click numbers. You can see the amount of leads. These are opt-ins that each of those campaigns generated. Here's the registrations that we got, our cost per lead, and our cost per registration. So you'll see the cost per lead, per opt-in stayed right about $3 or less, and we were as low as $1.44 in one of those groups. Now in February, what they wanted to do was they wanted to actually scale the campaign, and I was instructed to get twice as much traffic. So what I did was I doubled the budget, like you would normally think that you do, and this is something that we typically do. So let me show you what happened here. So when we doubled the budget, all we ended up doing was almost doubling the cost per lead. Okay, so all I did on each of these campaigns was I went through and doubled up the budget on the campaign from $10 to $20 a day. Pretty simple. And then we even actually raised it up to like $25 or $30 a day for a few days in there to see what would happen. And all that happened was we increased our cost per lead and our cost per registration. We stayed at almost the exact same numbers in those campaigns in terms of the amount of clicks, leads, and registrations. Those numbers did not scale with the budget. And I've seen this phenomenon in quite a few other campaigns before. Now our numbers were still good enough where they were okay with where we were at, and we're in the ranges where, you know, they're making a good ROI on the back end. But you know, I wanted to try to figure out why this was happening, because I've experienced it with several of my other clients, and I kind of call it the cliff point. So what you'll see in each, when you run a campaign and you start to scale the budget, you're going to hit some point in the dollar amount where your conversions will not scale with the budget. So what I mean is you can achieve like really good metrics, really low cost per leads, really low cost per registrations at a certain dollar amount. Maybe it's $10, maybe it's $20, maybe it's $50 a day for those groups. But then once you start going over that, all you're going to do is increase your cost per conversion, your cost per lead, your cost per sale, your cost per registration, whatever metric you're using. So what we decided to do is we decided to, first of all, we changed the ad. So let me show you what happened here. First of all, we changed the ad because that was starting to get a little bit unfresh. And then what I decided to do is we had noticed that we were getting really good conversions at $10 a day. So what I decided to do was actually just clone the campaign exactly. So all we did was we wanted to spend $30 a day. So we took the campaign, we had the exact same targeting, exact same ads, nothing was different in here, and then we just duplicated the campaign 2 more times. So we had 3 versions of the exact same campaign, and we put them all at $10 a day because we were getting really good conversions at $10 a day. And look what happened to our cost per lead and our cost per registration. You'll see there isn't a single one. Oh, we got one over $2. Now before we only had a couple that were below $2. Here we've got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 campaigns, and out of 15 campaigns, we only have one of them where the cost per opt-in is over $2. Those are really incredible numbers from just, you know, cold traffic on Facebook, and you'll see our cost per registration dropped significantly across most of these campaigns. Some of them we weren't getting any, but you know, we reduced our cost per registration quite a bit. So that's an interesting trick, and we've been testing this out in all of our other client campaigns, and it's holding true for every single person. So my theory behind it is that when you start to scale the budget, what happens is Facebook wants to use that budget up. And so they start displaying your traffic or your ads more, and it goes out to a wider base. Like I think that they can't 100% accurately display your ads to all the people that are in your targeting sections that you use. And so I think they start to go out on the fringes, and they may be displaying your ads to people that aren't in the targeting that you choose in the campaign. That's my theory behind it. And I think that's why you end up getting clicks that don't convert, and it just bumps up your spend and uses up your budget, and it doesn't scale the conversions with it. That's my theory behind it. Again, I haven't been able to prove that yet, but the bottom line is that when you're ready to start scaling your campaigns, what you'll actually want to do is find out where that cliff point is in your campaign. Like I said, it might be 10, 20, 50, it could be $100 a day where your conversions stay in that range that you're looking for. And once you find that, then what you do is you just duplicate the campaign, and you can do that in the Power Editor. You can literally just click a button and duplicate the entire campaign. And you duplicate it as many times over as you want until you get to that budget that you want to be at. So if you want to spend $500 a day and your cliff point was $50, you could have 10 versions of the same campaign running $50 a day, and you'll be golden. All right. So if you have questions, post them in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. to this video. We're gonna talk about native advertising secret number 13, and we're talking specifically about Facebook here. And what I want to show you here today is how to take all the confusion out of the different types of ad units and options that Facebook has, which can get really overwhelming and confusing, and just give you the nitty-gritty on the highest converting ad unit, so that you can just focus your efforts right there to start, and then after you start getting results, then you can play around with testing some of the other ad units. So, I mean, if you've ever been in on Facebook and the ads platform before, you'll see that there's they separate it out into two basic types of ad units. You've got your right-hand column, and then you've got your news feed ads. Within the right-hand column is straightforward. It's just the stuff you see on the right-hand side. There's only one way you can create those ads. But with the news feed, there's several different ways that you can create ads. There's all these different goals that they put on there and stuff, and so it can get really confusing, and you're not really sure what to start with. So I'm going to really just eliminate all of that confusion here for you. So before I show you the ad unit that works, I want to just walk you through a campaign that is actually live right now. What you're seeing this is it's showing inactive at this very moment, and the reason for that is it's early in the morning here on a Saturday, and we're actually using day parting on this campaign. So it's shut off right now. It turns on automatically later in the day, and I covered day parting in video number 5. So anyways, if we take a look at this ad or this campaign, it's been running since February 28th. Today's April 5th while I'm recording this, and you'll see the stats over that time. And you can see, between the two different ads that we're rotating in here, we've got a really high click-through rate on each of these, and you'll see that, we're only bidding 50 cents per click, and we're only paying 23 and 22 cents per click, and these ads convert very, very, very well for this client of mine. Now, this type of ad unit is what we call, it's a newsfeed ad, but it's what we call an unpublished page post ad. And so you'll see what it looks like right here. Now, the reason we use this type of ad unit is kind of twofold. So with your Facebook ads, the most important piece of your ad is the image itself. Now, all the other ad units that Facebook has for newsfeed will allow you to put images and stuff in there. But if you go out to, we can actually preview this in the news feed right now. You've probably clicked on images or add images before. It's not going to show. There we go. Okay, you've probably clicked on add images before, and then you'll get that black hover box that pops up, and you'll have a bigger version of the image, and then all the stuff will be over here where people can, it's got the text, and people can comment, and yada, yada, yada. Well, this ad unit, what makes it awesome is if you click the image, it actually goes out to the web page that you set up on the link. So most of the clicks that you're going to get on an ad are going to be on the image. And so this allows you to take people that are clicking and move far more of them into your funnel than you would with any of the other ad units. You're not wasting money, because on the other ad units, if somebody clicks this image, it hovers up, you paid for that click, and they didn't even go over to your landing page. So this ad unit, the reason it converts so much higher is it allows you to move those clickers who are clicking on that image over into your landing page, and by default you're going to get more action. So we've measured this against every other ad unit, and you get the highest click-through rates, which drive down your cost per click, and you'll still get really high conversion rates. So you actually pay lower cost per leads, lower cost per sales by using this particular ad unit. Now, when we set it up, and I'll show you how you have to set up, we just basically put a headline above here. We got our image, and the image needs to be sized to 1200 by 627 pixels so that it formats to fill this whole thing up. If you don't size it that way, then what can happen is if it's too small, you'll get one of those where you got like a little square over here and then the text is over here on the right. Those don't work as well. You need the image to be filled up completely. So you want to size it to 1200 pixels by 627. And then you put your headline above here. This section down here is called the link text. And then you've got a description down here. And that's it to the ad unit. Now this particular ad unit, you can only actually create it using either the Quia software or in the Power Editor. So you got to go into Chrome and into your Power Editor to do it. So once you create a campaign and you get to the ad, you get to the creative section, you're going to choose, for a page using a page post, select your page right here, and then there's this little link called Create New Unpublished Post. So you click on that, put your URL in here to your landing page. Now I'd highly recommend that you have a tracking link in here, because then you can actually track all the clicks to your landing page. The post text is going to be where your headline is. The link headline is going to be this little text right here that's below the image. And then the description is going to be this text right here. Okay, now you're limited to the amount of characters you can put in there and fit it. So you'll just, I don't know those numbers off the top of my head. We've got some kind of templates that we use that allow me to not go over that. But so you'll want to test that out and make sure you're not putting too much text in there as well. And then what you can do is put your image in here. You just click this upload image button. Click this, find the image on your computer, and then click create post, and it'll pop one up just like this. Here's another version of the ad that we're running for this client, and it just previews it right here. And so that is how you do an unpublished page post ad, and it's an unpublished link post ad. Let's just be clear on that. That's the highest converting ad unit. You're going to get the highest CTR. You're going to get the best conversion rates on the back end, and this way you don't have to try to figure out which ad units to use. Start with that, and then you can start testing some of the other ad units to see if they work for your particular business. Advertising secret number 14, and in this video what we're going to do is we're going to talk about placements and how you find the right type of placement for your particular business, and make sure that you're testing things out appropriately so that you know what will work for you and what won't work for you. So if you're just creating ads in the Ads Manager, which a lot of people are going to be doing, it's a bit tricky in here. So I want to show you guys what I'm talking about with placements from the Ads Manager perspective. And then I'll also show you in the Power Editor how it's a little bit different and quite a bit easier to understand. So like if you're creating your ad in the Ads Manager, when you get to this section right here, you've got Ad Preview and Placements. And then if you, okay, it's not going to shrink it down. So if I were to put a bunch of stuff in here, it would show the ad over here. Now what this is saying is this is what it's going to look like on the desktop news feed. So that means, in the news feed on desktop computers only. Then you got mobile news feed that it automatically puts here, which would be the news feed on mobile devices. And then you got right-hand column, which is, the right-hand side of the page on desktop computers only. So they automatically default you to having your ad show on all three of those placements. Now, what we've discovered is that you don't want to be running necessarily on all three of those placements. And particularly, you want to really test out the mobile news feed, because what will happen with mobile is you'll get a really high click-through rate, and you can get conversions on mobile if you've got your site mobile optimized, but the cost per conversion will end up being really high. And what happens in the campaigns, if you have all of these placements running on one particular ad at the same time, Facebook's going to favor the one that's getting the most clicks, and that almost always is going to be the mobile feed. So what will happen is you could have all three of these set on here, but all of your ad spend is going toward mobile, and people are just clicking on it, and they're not converting, and you're not making money, and you'll blow through your budget really, really, really fast. So when you're first testing out, what we recommend that you do is you go with just the desktop news feed, and use the ad unit that I showed in a previous video, the unpublished page post link ad, okay? So you'll want to go with the desktop only and use that particular ad unit, which you can set in the Power Editor, okay? But you just got to make sure you are not putting all 3 of these placements on one ad. If you want to test out some of these other placements, you'll need to duplicate your campaign and run that placement only so you can run it in isolation, where if you have all 3 of them here, you're muddying up your data, okay? Now I want to show you in a campaign where we tested these things out individually and the results that happened. So this is a campaign that I ran for Digital Marketer in January of 2014. So you'll see we got the dates of January 1st to January 31st. And you'll see all the different campaigns that we ran during the month, and you can see the spend and the click-through rates. Now these registrations, these are people that had actually filled out a full-blown application to talk with their team about buying high-end consulting from them. Leads are actual opt-ins, so you can see the cost per registration, cost per lead. Now, we had this category, which is an interest cluster of different keywords we tested called winners, and you'll see we spent quite a bit of money in there. The click-through rate was not anything stellar, but you see we've got a really good cost per opt-in, and we generated 83 registrations at a cost of $198.49 a piece. Now, they were converting really well on the back end, so this was a highly profitable number for them. So this was running just simply on desktop newsfeed. Now, what we want to do is test out and see if the same interests on the mobile newsfeed would convert as well. And you'll see here we spent, almost $4,700. The click-through rate was insane. We only got 13 registrations. We got quite a bit of leads, but the cost per lead was a bit higher than our cost per lead on desktop, and the cost per registration was substantially higher. This got into the range where it wasn't going to be profitable for us. We had to shut that campaign down. So this is another reason why you need to not evaluate your ad on click-through rate alone, because if you were looking just at click-through rate, you would think that this is where you need to be spending your money. But when we look at the actual conversion numbers and the cost per conversions, it's not. Okay, so you got to make sure that you're not jumbling up the placements together, which is what Facebook tries to get you to do right out of the gate. Make sure you're isolating them in individual campaigns, running only one placement at a time, and start with the desktop news feed. That's going to give you your lowest cost per conversions. Than it will on mobile. And then once you have things dialed in on desktop, then you can test mobile as long as your site is mobile optimized. You got to make sure it's mobile optimized. All right, so let me also show you how this differs in the Power Editor. So I'm just going to log right into there. Looks like Justin's having some sushi today. All right, so let's go into the Power Editor. Right. And I'm just going to pull up an active campaign for another client here. All right. So when you get into the ad on the Power Editor, they separate out the placement a lot better for you, and you actually get more placement choices. So it'll default to all, so it's going to put it everywhere. So it'll put it on the right-hand column. It'll put it in the mobile news feed. It's going to put it in the desktop news feed. It'll put it everywhere that they can. Don't choose that. Now you also have desktop and mobile, desktop only, mobile only, right-hand column and news feed on desktop only, right-hand column only, and then news feed on mobile and right-hand column on desktop only. So there's a lot of different things you can play around with, but you'll want to start with the news feed on desktop only, and then you can test out some of these other placements. Now this particular client right here, the news feed on desktop and mobile actually works really well for his ad and his offer. So we have that one combined, because what'll happen is when you combine them, after you've tested them individually, you can get higher click-through rates, and then that'll lower down your cost per ad on your desktop ads as well. So it's a lot easier to use in the Power Editor. I would recommend getting used to the Power Editor and setting up your campaigns in here versus the Ads Manager. But I wanted to show you both so you got an idea of, what the placements are, and then the flow that you need to go through with testing, because this is a big mistake that a lot of people make because they don't really understand that, and they don't understand how different placements behave. So you really need to make sure you are not putting them all. Start with the newsfeed, desktop only, and then create additional campaigns once that's converting to test out the other ones, and then you can kind of test some of the combinations after that. All right, so go ahead and apply that to your campaigns, and you're going to see great success doing that. Number 15 has to do with tracking pixels. So Facebook has really easy to use, great tracking pixels that you can create right within your ads manager. Just on the left-hand side, you click on conversion tracking, and then they've got this green create conversion pixel button in the upper right-hand corner. You can click on that and simply name the pixel, give it a category, and then you click create pixel, and it'll give you a piece of code that you want to place on your website where the conversion happens. So now the secret here is in a couple of different things. So first of all, what you want to do is you want to have tracking pixels for every conversion point of your funnel. Now, for most people, it's going to be, two basic conversion points. You're going to have a pixel for people opting in on your squeeze page, and then you're also going to have a pixel for your end conversion. So whether you're generating leads and you're having people complete an application, it would be the thank you page that people see after that. Or if you're selling product, it's going to be the first page that people see after they make their initial order. If you have an upsell chain where you've got multiple products, it gets a little bit trickier because you're going to want to have multiple pages for each upsell, one for people that took the previous upsell and one for people that declined, so that you can actually have a tracking pixel on the one that people see when they buy and if they don't buy. Because otherwise what happens is most people, what they'll do is they'll have their initial order, then they'll have one page for the upsell, and if the person orders or they decline, it goes to the same version of the page. Well, what had happened then in that scenario is the pixel would fire and it would think that people that declined the offer still bought. So what we do is we'll have like an A/B page. So let's say we're running an offer, and after they buy the initial offer, we're going to send them to upsell 1. So we'll have, and then we want to sell them to upsell 2 after that. So upsell 2 will have 2 versions of the page. One that people go to if they buy upsell 1, one that people go to if they decline upsell 1. And so then you'll want to have a conversion pixel that'll go on the page that people see if they buy upsell 1. And you'll need to do that for every upsell or downsell in your chain, is you'll have to have 2 different versions of the page. You'll have to have a buy version and a non-buy version, and you'll put your conversion pixel on the buy version only. So that should make sense. So what you'll need to also do is when you're setting up these multiple pixels, you need to use a different category for each one. The category doesn't matter at all in terms of how it tracks, but by having different categories, what it'll do is it'll allow you to pull them up in the reports in Facebook properly. So let's say you had 3 upsells and you put each one as checkout. It won't pull the data properly into the reports and allow you to see which checkouts are happening and get the revenue per checkout. So you'll want to have a different category for each pixel that you create. Now, most of the clients that we're working with, we're generating leads for them selling high-ticket products and services online. So we're only going to have 2 tracking pixels. Now, what we do is the opt-ins, we use the leads category, and then the people that apply, we use the registrations category. So let me show you, and now before I get into showing you some reports, I want to speak about one other quick thing. So if you're creating your ads in the ads manager, it's only going to allow you to place 1 tracking pixel on each ad. So why do we create multiple pixels? Well, there's a trick. You actually have to use the power editor. So you'll see this Power Editor link over here. You can only access that through Chrome, so let me go into that real quick here. And so when you're in Chrome and you're in Power Editor, excuse me, you can pull up your ads in here, and in the conversion tracking spot here, you can check off multiple conversions and allow you to track multiple conversions per ad. That's the big secret here that you got to get out of this. This is the only way to add multiple conversion tracking onto each ad. If you're building your ads in the ads manager in this view, you'll only be able to put one of those pixels on. So after you create your ad, you can go into the Power Editor, upload it in here, and then just tick off the other box for your next conversion pixel you want to track, and then you can re-upload the ad. Or you can create your ad directly in the Power Editor, which it's very easy to do, and you can put all the conversion pixels on right away that you want to track. Okay, now I want to show you some reports real quick here and why this is important. So we're tracking leads and registrations on here. So what this allows us to do in the reporting is we can pull up both of those columns, and then we can pull up a cost per lead and a cost per registration. So you'll see here, I mean, with these campaigns right now, I mean, we're getting, the leads are opt-ins to the squeeze page, so we're getting 24 cents an opt-in, 34 cents an opt-in, 77, $1.43, 91 cents, 91 cents, $10, and $1. So now what I can see is, you know, these conversions are spectacular. This is getting to be a little bit too high. But what I want to also see is if there's any registrations coming through, because I would be willing to pay a lot higher cost per lead if we're getting the registrations, which is the end goal conversion here. So you want to make sure you're getting a full picture of your funnel and how it's converting all the way back to the campaigns so that you can make smarter decisions. Now, we've seen it plenty of times where, I mean, we've had ones where we're paying $25 a lead for an opt-in, but they're converting at 50% to a registration, so we're still getting $50 a registration, which is really good. Now this is a new campaign that I'm testing right now, and it's just absolutely killing it. So I mean, we're getting registrations for $5 and $10 in these two campaigns. This is just yesterday as I'm running this. So we're just doing a small test right now, and you can see we're getting some pretty awesome click-through rates and pretty awesome cost per leads and cost per registrations on this. But that's secret 15. Make sure you're setting up your tracking pixels. Make sure you have a tracking pixel for every conversion point of your funnel, and then use the Power Editor to add those all the conversion tracking pixels to each ad that you create, so the reports will pull them through, and you'll be able to see how your entire funnel is converting all the way through. Advertising secret number 16. Now what I'm going to do is just kind of illustrate this one. This will be a really quick one here. This is a campaign from a client, Jason Lucchesi. We just started working together. I haven't actually started running any ads for him yet, but he has been running ads on his own. And this secret is something that is kind of discovered over doing a lot of analyzing of different campaigns and stuff, and I see almost everybody that's been running ads before they come to me is making this mistake right out of the get-go. So that's why I'm including it in here as kind of an advanced thing, but it's going to seem really simple once I explain it here. So this is how most people have their campaign structured. So they'll have a campaign with a bunch of different targeting options, and then they throw a whole buttload of different ads in here. And the thing is that they'll actually run them all at the same time. So when I took this over, they had all of these ads were unpaused. They were all running at the same time. And you'll see how some of them barely have any displays at all. And then you got one that's got a massive amount of displays and a few that have a little bit more. Now, if we look at the stats on here, I'm going to explain why this doesn't work and why you shouldn't be doing this. Okay, so you see the one that got most of the displays? It's the one that has the highest click-through rate. So let's just sort it that way. And so what will happen is Facebook will start showing the ads. It'll show all of them a little bit, And then as soon as one starts taking off with the click-through rate, it's basically going to automatically display that ad and stop displaying the other ads. Some of them entirely, some of them they'll keep displaying a little bit. But pretty much all of the impressions in the displays are going to go to this one ad that has the highest click-through rate. Now, is high click-through rate bad? No, it's not. It can be very good, but you need to really kind of watch the click-through rate. Like, you need to make sure you're measuring the end goal conversions, which we've talked about in other videos. And if you've got a high click-through rate and you're getting the end goal conversions that you're looking for, you've got a master right there. But more often than not, the high click-through rate ads will not result in a really good end goal conversion. And Facebook doesn't give a crap about your end goal conversions for the most part. The reason that they're going to show this ad with the highest click-through rate is because they want to take your budget. And so they know that people are clicking that ad. That means they're making more money. So they're going to show everything to here. So you never, ever, ever, ever want to run a whole bunch of ads or even more than one ad in any particular campaign at the same time. Now, if you want to test, different images or different elements in the ad, then what you need to do is you actually have to duplicate the campaign and make the change to your ad and have two different campaigns with two different ads running so that you can measure them at the same time. Because by having one ad and one campaign, it forces Facebook to show that ad no matter what. The other option is you can rotate around ads like I showed you in a previous video. But that only works, I only recommend doing the rotation of the ads when you've already got your stuff figured out. Usually when people are doing this, they're trying to test a whole bunch of different elements at one time. And so what they really should have done here, because you can see how they have it labeled out by image number, and they probably have some different things in here. Each one of these ads should have been in its own campaign with a really low budget so that you can measure them all side by side and get true data coming through. So basically what you need to do when you're testing those elements is just have one ad in one campaign, and you can clone it. You can do that right in the Power Editor. There's a simple copy button, and let me show you that real quick here. We'll go back to the ads. All right, and let's take a look at this. All right, so let me pull up the campaign. We'll click on campaigns. All right, so this campaign right here, if I wanted to duplicate it and make a change, I can literally just click that duplicate button when I'm on the campaign view right here, and it's going to put another version of that campaign in here. I can make all my changes, click on the ads, and then do a different version of the ad right here. So it's super easy. It only takes a couple clicks. You can upload it and do that. It's extra work, but it's how you get the real data that you need to measure your campaigns and figure out what's working on your ads. 17 in advanced native advertising secrets. And so up to this point, we've been talking about some targeting stuff and specifically demographic information. So, targeting by gender, targeting by age, you can target by income and other demographic type of information. Now, the unique thing about Facebook and what makes the Facebook ads so powerful is you can combine demographic targeting with psychographic targeting. And so if you haven't heard of that term before, psychographic targeting is basically targeting by interests. So you can tell a lot about a person by who they follow, what they like, what they read. And Facebook allows you to actually dive into that information and get inside your prospect's head. And so when you know the demographics of your ideal prospect and you combine that information with the psychographics of the prospect, then you can really get your message in front of the right audience. And that's the key to making your ad successful. It's getting the right message in front of the right audience and then making the right offer to them. Okay? So what you want to do is start thinking about the things that your ideal prospect are into. And so the two things that I start with, and usually is enough to be pretty successful, is think about in your industry if there's any major gurus that your prospect would be following to try to get help with what they're doing. And also any magazines, publications, blogs that they might be reading. So let me walk you through a campaign for a client of mine right now, and I'll show you what kind of results you can get when you combine these things together. So this is a client I've been working with since June of 2013. It's April of 2014 right now, so it's been almost a year. This campaign has been running successfully for 10 months now. So this client is a debt consultant. So what he does is he helps his clients to eliminate debt really quickly using some advanced automated bill pay methods that he's developed over the years. So we know that people who are looking to get out of debt, and I'm just going to go in here. Now it says inactive right now because we have day parting on this campaign. So I'm going to pull up the ads that we're running right now. So we know that people who are interested in getting out of debt, they follow people like Dave Ramsey and Susie Orman. Okay, so what we did was we went on Facebook. In the ads creation section, there's a little part called precise interests, and in there you can start searching for different things, and you can come up with all these different interests that your target audience where they've actually liked fan pages for these people. And so Dave Ramsey's got a whole bunch of different fan pages out there that he created or other people had created for him that have large audiences. Same with Susie Orman. Okay, then what we also did was we searched for things like student debt, debt loan consolidation, debt relief, freedom debt relief, debt, total money makeover by Dave Ramsey. So we got all these debt-related keywords and debt gurus. Okay, because we know that they're following these people because they're trying to figure out how to get out of debt, and they have these keywords on their profile, or they've liked these pages because they're dedicated to debt, and so that indicates that these people have debt. And just by doing that and limiting the age band to 30 to 60, we have 5.4 million people that we can advertise to. Okay, so we've got the demographics in here. We've got the psychographics in here, and look at the kind of results that we get. I mean, we've been running this campaign for a long time. This is just the last 7 days here, and we've got a 2.926% click-through rate. We're paying 22 cents per click, spent $182.61. We've had 38 leads or opt-ins so far, so if we just take that 182.61 divided by 38, it's $4.80. So it's under $5, and he's converting quite well on the back end. We're driving people through a strategy session funnel, so we're getting applications for him in the $50 to $70 range, and then he closes about 25% of them into a $6,000 package. So he's making about $18,000 in sales right now, and only spending $50 a day on ads. So he's spending $1,500 a month on ads, and he's making $18,000 in sales. So it's a really huge ROI when you've got the high ticket stuff on the back end. So you can see from this campaign that when you really dive in and understand the psychographics of your market, and you combine them up with the demographics, and then put the right message in front of them with the right offer, then you can have really amazing results with your Facebook ads. So go out and go and do some research. Figure out who are the gurus that your ideal prospect follows. What are some magazines, publications, things that they might like on Facebook, and come up with 20 to 30 different things. Search them out in Facebook. Find out how much people are actually in that group. And then you can go through some of the other advanced stuff that I showed you where you test out those keywords to find a nice big cluster of ones that convert like we've got here. And then you can run your ads, and you'll make a lot of money doing that.
Traffic module. All right, so now that you've built that funnel, we've got lots of cool things happening. We have lots of chances to turn that subscriber into a buyer. using all types of different angles and goodwill campaigns and countdown sequences and everything. Now it's time to turn on the traffic, because we have the highest likelihood of that traffic turning into sales. And before we begin, I want to tell you a pretty cool story. Last year, as I was taking some consulting clients, I got an application from a guy. And the guy had an ad agency, and everything was going great, and the only challenge he had was building a predictable system for turning inquiries for the agency into sales. So I booked a session with him, and I called him on the phone and asked him what was going on, and he told me, and I saw a lot of promise with his agency, and I took him as a client. And he was a great client, and we had a really, really good time. And as I worked with him, I started to learn a lot about traffic, and a lot about buying traffic, and a lot about split testing and targeting, and quite frankly, it was stuff that I really didn't know, mainly because I spend most of my time writing copy, etc. So I started running my own campaigns, as I've been doing for years, and when it got time to try to really take it to the next level, I called on him for advice. Long story short, the tables were turned. Now I'm his client. I'm the one that pays him every month. And he runs my ad campaigns and buys my traffic and keeps up with the metrics and split tests everything. And instead of me showing you what I think he would do, he was kind enough to take time out of his very, very busy schedule to teach you this module. And what he's going to teach you is the exact traffic getting and testing methodologies that he uses on all of my personal campaigns. This is my go-to source for the buying of traffic. Now, a little word of warning. As you watch this, some folks who are watching it might immediately say, okay, great, I want to call this guy and just have him do everything for me. That's not a bad decision, but I urge you not to do it. Not because he's not awesome, but because I want you to do this yourself first, make sure your offer converts, and then, if you want to outsource it to this person, go ahead and do that and let him scale it. But go ahead and build the traffic campaigns and test everything out on your own. It's not very difficult, as you're going to see, and it can become very profitable very quickly. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to the person whose work consistently brings me back anywhere between $1.39 all the way up to $3 for every $1 I spend with him. My friend, my former client, and now my traffic guy, Jason Hornick.
Hey Frank, thanks for the introduction. So in this video, what we're going to do is talk about how to set up your Facebook ads account. So there's actually two ways to do it. You can do it online, or you can actually call this 1-800 number right here, and Facebook will give you setup services. So a rep will actually set up your account for you, and they'll give you a $50 ad credit. So, you know, if you want some help walking through it, I would highly recommend that you do that. And you can get that 800 number by just simply coming out to facebook.com/advertising. Now, I will warn you, their call center is really jammed, and you'll oftentimes call in and not reach anybody. You'll need to leave a message and then wait for them to call you back or email you, and it can become a hassle. So if you do choose that route, just be prepared for some possible issues with that. Okay, so if you're in a time crunch and you want to just get set up really fast, it's really easy to do on your own. Now you do have to have a Facebook account already to set up an ads account. I'm logged out of mine because I have an ads account already. So when you land on this page, you just need to log into your Facebook account right here, or you can click sign up to create one if you don't have one already. Then once you've gone through that process, either logging in or signing up if you don't have a Facebook account, then you can come back to this page and you'll click this button here for creating an ad. Okay? And then what it's going to actually do is it's going to create your ads account for you, and it's going to put you right into the process of creating an ad. So what we're going to do is in the next video, I'm going to show you how to actually create an ad, because it doesn't really make sense to show it here and then have a separate video for that. So I just wanted to show you this page right here, give you the couple of options that you need in order to set up an account and show you how easy it is. And then in the next video, what we're going to do is I'm going to walk you through how to create an actual ad. Kicking it over here to me. Now in this video, I'm going to show everybody how they go about creating that first ad. And this is the continuation of the process of setting up the ads account. So from the previous video, I showed you, you're landing on the ads page, and you click that create an ad button. It's going to actually put you into this page right here on Facebook. So it created your ads account, and it's going to give you a little number right here, and it'll show, whatever name you inserted into there for your ads account. And it's going to ask you what kind of result do you want from your ads. Now, Facebook just added this recently, and they call these the campaign objectives. So the objective is really going to be determined by, what you're trying to do with your advertising. Now, most of the clients that I work with, there's basically two objectives that they're really trying to obtain with their Facebook ads. So they're either trying to get clicks to their website, or they're trying to get conversions from their website. Now, you may be trying to generate page likes for your page, or if you have an app, you may be trying to get app installs or engagement. It all depends on what you're doing in your business. But let's just assume that your main goal is just to get more clicks over to your website, so we're going to choose that. Okay. Now what it's going to do is it's going to ask you for the URL that you want to promote. And so I'm just going to put in my main domain here. And then you hit enter or click continue, and it's going to pop in the URL right here. So now what it's telling you is this is the URL that when somebody clicks on your ad, Facebook's going to direct people over to that. Now what you can do is you can actually insert up to 6 different images that Facebook will rotate around and split test within your campaign. And they're telling you, what the size of the image needs to be for news feed. So we'll get into the different ad units down over here and the placements and everything. But what you'll want to do is you can upload your images here, and you want to make sure that you have them formatted properly. Now what I want to do is show you a site here that you can use for that. And we're going to go Facebook ad image sizes. So if you search that, John Loomer right here has got some really great info, and so I like this page that he's got right here. And you can come down here, and he's got these nice little graphics that show you what all the different sizes are. Now for ads, they're down here, and what Facebook recommends is one size for all of your ad units. So if you upload in this standard size, and I'm trying to find it here. Okay, yep, so they have this standard size. So if you upload a image that's 1200 by 864, then what it will do is Facebook will actually reformat it to all of these different sizes automatically for you. So you could, go and have, all these different sizes of your images created, or you could just put one in 1200 by 864, and then Facebook will actually automatically format that image for you for all the different ad units, because you've got, your right-hand side, which is 100 by 72. Then you got, your mobile sponsored story, which is this size, etc., etc. So you can get all the details from this page on all the different sizes and everything. But what we do in our agency is we upload all of them in 1200 by 864, and then depending on whatever ad unit we choose, Facebook will automatically reformat that for us. All right, so let's say you want to upload an image in here, and we're just gonna pick one here, and I'll pull this one here off of one that we're doing for a client. Okay, so then you can just upload all of your different images right up in here. Okay, so before I go into any of this other stuff over here, what we really need to talk about is ad placements now. So there's basically 3 different placements, and that's where your ad is going to show up on Facebook. So you have desktop newsfeed, so that will be the person's newsfeed on Facebook, just on desktop computers. There's mobile newsfeed, so on mobile phones, and then there's right-hand column, which is the traditional original ads that show up over here. So when we're running ads, what we recommend that you start with is actually just desktop newsfeed, because that's the highest converting ad. And when you're creating a campaign like this, we highly recommend that you only have one ad unit per campaign, and you start with the desktop newsfeed to get your numbers down on your funnel, and then you can test out some of the other placements in separate campaigns. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove the mobile news feed, and then we're going to remove right-hand column, so that the only placement that we're doing is desktop news feed. Now with desktop and mobile news feed, the ads are actually considered unpublished page posts. So you have to have a Facebook page that you connect to the ad, and it runs off of that Facebook page. So if you don't have one, you're going to have to click this little plus button and go through the process of creating a new Facebook fan page. If you do have one, what will happen is it'll pull up all the different fan pages that you have access to on your account. Now I run an agency, so we've got quite a few of them here. So I'm just going to select my own agency right there. And so then by doing that, what happens is it gives me a preview of the ad. So what it's done is it pulled in the image over here, and then it's taking all of this stuff from over here that it pre-fills based on my page, and it's inserting that into here. Now we can adjust that stuff. So the text right here is actually what's going to show up above the image, and with this type of ad unit, that's actually going to be your headline. So you'll want to use a catchy headline that attracts your prospect, and you can type that into here. So how to turn this route into sales. And I'm just pulling this completely off the top of my head. It has nothing to do with what we do. This isn't actually something that we can do for people, but it's based off of the image that I have here. Okay, and then here, what you can do is change this text down here. Click here to discover how today. All right. Now I'm not really sure why I'm getting that. Oh, I went over the limit on the character. So you see how it's got that little -10 right there? What that's telling me is I went over my character limit. So let me back that off a little bit. Let's just change this to click here now. All right. Now these are optional things that you can add on. You'll definitely want to test this stuff out. These are call to action buttons here, and so you can actually put a little button that will show up in the lower right hand corner down here, and when people click that, it will take them off page to your site that you put in at the top. You'll definitely want to test those out. We start without a button, and then we'll add in buttons as necessary to see if they work and improve results for our clients. Then you also have this advanced options button here. So now this is going to give you an option to put in some more text below where it says click here now. So discover how people are making this happen today. And this is, by all means, this is not a copywriting course. I'm just showing you how to actually use the functions here. I'm not suggesting that this is good copy or this would work or that you should model this for your ads. Then you can have a conversion pixel. So now here, because I've got pixels already set up, it's going to show up in here. If you don't have pixels, what it'll do is give you the option to create a pixel, and the tracking pixel is something that you definitely want to use with your ads, and you're going to use this as a way to track which ads and which targets that you're testing are actually producing leads and sales for you. We go over that quite a bit in detail in the more advanced videos, so I would go and check that out to get more information on using tracking pixels. Okay, so now custom audiences, you can actually put code on your website to create an audience, or you can upload like a prospect or buyer database, and you can create a custom audience off of that, and you can run ads to those. We talk about custom audiences again in further detail and more in depth in one of the advanced videos, but this is where you can actually, if you wanted to run it to one of those custom audiences that you have, you could select that from here. Now, if you're just starting off new, you're probably not going to have a custom audience, so we're going to remove that. Now, here's where we get into all the demographic stuff. So you can select the countries that you want. So if you wanted to add in Canada, for example, you just type down here, select it from the list. You want to add in Australia, type it from there, select it from the list. Very straightforward stuff. You can select the age that you want. So if you're gender banding or age banding your campaigns like we suggest in the advanced videos, you can select those age bands from here. You can choose the gender, so if you're gender banding, which again is in one of the advanced videos, you can select the gender that you want from here. Then there's even more demographic stuff, so you can get into their relationship status, their education, work status, financial situation, home ownership, all kinds of stuff. So the more that you know about your customer or your potential customer, you can thinly slice those things in here, and you can really get your ad narrowed down. So you'll need to know about your customer and what information you want to try gathering and adding in here to really, narrow down who you're going after. And the more you can do that, the better your ads will perform. Then here's where things get really interesting, and this is the interest. Now Facebook gives you several different options. They have all these like broad categories that you can choose from, and like you could add people that are interested in architecture, for example. But what's more powerful than that is you can actually search for fan pages. So let's say that you knew your ideal customer was a fan of Dave Ramsey. You can actually select him from the list, and you see how it gave me those other suggestions. We can go Dave Ramsey again, and looks like he's got all these other ones. So you can keep adding these in here, and you can keep adding in interests to build up your audience, and you'll see how this little chart tells you what your potential reach is for how many people are that fit all of this criteria that you're putting in here. So it gives you a good indication of what potential audience base you have for your list. And then they'll even give you other suggested interests. Now, we talked quite a bit in one of the more advanced videos about how you should lay out your campaigns with interest targets. So I would again go and check out that video to learn more about this. The purpose here is just to show you how to use this system. Now you can also add in some behaviors. So if they're, if you know that the person you're going after contributes to charitable organizations, you can select that. There's all kinds of different stuff in here that you can add on. Then there's even further advanced targeting where, if you want to include people that are connected to a particular page, or exclude people that are connected to a certain page, or even include those friends of people that are connected to a certain page, you can add those in here as well. Again, all these are things that you're going to want to, really understand your ideal customer, and then find out, if you want to test these things out, and then put together a plan for testing them. Right. So then once you get down here, then what it's going to do is it's going to pre-fill in what it's going to name your campaign. So what we typically do in our agency is we'll name the campaign after the targeting that we're doing. So in this example, we'd say Dave Ramsey, and then I had filtered it down to men 30 to 40. So what we do is we name it based on the interest group, and then the gender and age band is how we do that. And then the ad set is going to be the name of the actual ad. So we always number our ads by the order that we create them. And so this would be your first ad, so we'd call the ad set ad 1. Then you can set your budget per day. You can go as little as $5, or you could even put a lifetime budget on here if you wanted to have it run for a certain period. I recommend having at least $10 a day on your campaigns to start, or you're just not going to get enough traffic to really measure any decent results. You can have your ad run continuously, or you can set a start and end date. I usually have it run continuously and don't use a start and end date, because especially with a new ads account, it'll take a day or two for your ads to get approved, and then you're going to have to do a little bit of some tweaking and stuff to get the traffic coming through. And oftentimes if I set an end date, it will end before I'm ready for it to end. And you're going to be in here watching this stuff anyways, so if something funny is happening, you can always pause your campaign at any time. It doesn't have to run for those number of days. Now here we're going to get into your bidding option. And so when you're starting off, there's actually two ways you can bid. You can bid for impressions or bid for clicks. Now if you're bidding for clicks, what that means is you're going to pay for every click that you actually get. If you're bidding for impressions, what happens is you're going to pay for every 1,000 times your ad shows whether somebody clicks or not. So you want to start with bidding for clicks, definitely. Now you also want to set it manually, and it's going to give you an amount in here that it suggests you bid max per click. So I would leave it at that amount right away, and then once your campaign starts running, the Facebook's going to give you a suggested bid range, and that's going to vary depending on how your ad performs. So as you're going through your campaign, you'll be kind of tweaking that bid a little bit to make sure that your ads are showing and that you're getting clicks coming through. Okay, but those are all the components of how you set up an ad. And so once you've got all that stuff set the way that you want it, you just click place order. It's going to have you review everything and confirm everything, and then you'll be able to click confirm order, and then it's going to submit it up to Facebook. They're going to review the ad, make sure everything's compliant with their terms of service, which I highly recommend that you check out before you start putting ad copy together and selecting landing pages that you're going to drive people to. You definitely have to review that stuff. And then assuming you've done everything right, you're within the terms of service, you'll get an email from Facebook when the ad's been approved, and then usually within a couple hours your traffic will start. If for some reason your ad is disapproved, they will actually give you a reason it's disapproved, and then you can come in and edit and resubmit. So it's a very easy process. That's how you set up ads using the Ads Manager. So now in this video, what I'm going to do is show you guys how to navigate around in your Ads Manager once you got ads running, so that you kind of can know what you're looking at. And I'm going to show you some little ways that we kind of organize things and run reports off of your ads account, so that you can measure how well everything's performing for you. So once you get ads in here, there's 3 levels to the Ads Manager. So there's campaigns, there's ad sets, and then there's ads. And so what you're going to see here is the campaign level. And so each of the individual campaigns that you create will be listed here, and then you're going to have a certain amount of data that gets displayed right here. Now you can actually adjust this data. It will switch depending on the campaign goal that you set when you created the campaign. So you'll see this one is website clicks, so it's going to show the website click, the cost per click, how many people saw it, if there was any spent today, what the total spend was. Now this is an old client account that we're looking at here, so it's not active or being used right now. So let me go down here, and I'm just going to open up this campaign. So if you want to see the next level, you come into the campaign, and this is what they call the ad set level. Now this ads account was used before this ad set level stuff was created, so the naming convention is going to be a little bit different in here than what I showed you in a previous video. So at the ad set level, what we'll typically do is we'll name this after the actual ad itself. So let's just say this was ad 3, that would be your ad set. Now within an ad set, so let me back up a little bit. Within a campaign, you can have multiple ad sets, and so the way we do it for our clients is every time we make a change to the ad, we create a new ad set for that ad. And so we could end up having anywhere up to 20, 30 different ad sets in here. Each ad set is going to contain different ads that we're running. And by organizing it this way, when you start to get more than one ad set in here, you'll actually have this nice little display of your stats, and then you can measure each ad set really quickly against another ad set to see if the changes that you made actually produced better results for you or not. Now if you want to dive in and see the actual ad, what you can do is click on that ad set link right there, and now this is going to show you the ad that's in here. And it's got all the same stats. It just goes another level deep, and you can see things like your click-through rate, how much you bid on the ad and everything like that. And if you want to actually preview the ad, what you can do is click on that link right there, and then it's going to give you all of the details for what this ad looks like. And so it shows the ad unit right here. It's got all of your targeting over here, and what interests you're going after, the age band. It's going to give you a suggested bid range, and then it's going to tell you some of the actions that people have been taking on this particular ad. So I had mentioned when we were setting up campaigns that Facebook's going to give you this suggested bid, and so you'll need to be coming in on your ads and kind of looking at this and seeing how this fluctuates, because this is actually going to change based on your ads performance. So Facebook rewards people for having high click-through rates, and a high click-through rate is going to be considered to be over 1%. If you're under 1%, what will happen is Facebook's going to keep bumping this up, and you'll need to keep increasing your bid if you want to keep running that ad and having it show. Or because what will happen is let's say we have our bid at 53 cents like this one, and the top of the range is $1. They're not going to show this ad very often because it's just not performing enough and getting enough clicks. So you got to think of it from Facebook's perspective, because they want to show ads that are going to get clicked a lot because they only get paid when those clicks happen. So you got to kind of understand those things, and you got to be looking at your ads and adjusting your bid based on what's happening here. Now the reverse could actually happen, because you can set your bid at whatever you want, and if you get a really high click-through rate, meaning 2% or higher, Facebook's going to keep showing that ad, and they're actually going to keep dropping your cost per click. So there's incentive for you to put together ads that are really good and get clicked a lot. Now, if you want to actually test everything out, when you come in here, they put this view in desktop link right here, so you can click that. It'll take you out here, and then the ad is fully functioning. So you can see all of the copy in here. You can click the links and make sure that everything's working right on that. And I don't know if this is working right still, because they may have changed their site. That's running really slow, so we'll pass that. You can see all of the stats on here. You can take a look at comments and stuff like that. So it gives you a full preview of the fully functioning ad. So yep, looks like that was working fine. And that's a really great feature that they added in not too long ago. So that's really kind of how you move around in your ads account. Remember, there's 3 levels. You got your campaign, you've got your ad set, and then you've got your ad level. And so this will give you the individual campaign that we were just in. It'll back out and show us what our ad sets are. And then if we go back out here, it will show us what all of our campaigns are. On the side over here, you got a few different things. You can manage your fan pages from within here. You can get reports. You can change the settings and your billing information. There's 2 things that I'm going to talk about real quick, and then I'll go into the reports. So we had talked about when setting up the campaigns using conversion pixels. You can actually create those right here in the conversion tracking section. And so you're definitely going to want to use pixels. This is where you create those. We go over how to create them and how to set them up and the best practices with that in one of the advanced videos. But this is where you can actually create those. You can you can rename them. You can email it to a developer. You can grab the code and put it on your site if you want to do that yourself. Then we've got the audiences, and we talked a bit in the campaign creation video about custom audiences, and this is where you can actually create some code that you can put on your website to create a custom audience for retargeting purposes, or you can actually upload a database of your subscribers or buyers, and there's a lot of different little things that you can do with that to actually create ads and run to those audiences. So again, we go over custom audiences in great detail in one of the advanced videos, but this is where you can access that. One of the key things that we use is the reporting tool on here, because you always want to know how your ads are performing. And so what we'll actually do is create a report. We just call it evaluation, and we put in the key performance indicators. So I'm going to have to back this out to January, because I believe that was the last time we were running ads in this account. So let me just do that real quick. All right, and so there's a few key things that we're looking for on these reports. We're looking at campaign breakdown, the amount that was spent, the clicks, registrations, which would be, if you're generating leads, we typically call that a registration, where you're getting an application for a phone call. Leads are going to be simply opt-ins, and then we've got our cost per opt-in and our cost per registration. And so you can edit all of these different columns and put in whatever data you want to see to help you measure your campaign's performance. But this is generally how we lay it out, and this gives us some good key performance indicators, so we can tell, which campaigns, which ads are working well, and then if it's not hitting the numbers that you need to have in order to be profitable, you can shut down campaigns. And if you got one that's just really cranking and you're making good money off of it, you're hitting your numbers, then you can start scaling it and upping the budget. And we talked quite a bit about scaling in an advanced video as well. All right, so then the last thing here is there's this little link called Power Editor. Now I'm in Firefox browser right now, but the Power Editor allows you to do some other features that you can't do within the Ads Manager. You can actually make wholesale changes to a lot of campaigns and ads all at one time. You do have to have Google Chrome in order to use Power Editor. It will only work in that browser. So we'll have a separate video where we discuss Power Editor and some of the unique things about that. But if you're using Chrome, when you come into your Ads Manager, you can click on Power Editor here, and it'll take you into the Power Editor, and you can make bigger changes to campaigns. You can duplicate campaigns. You can do all kinds of stuff that you can't do in here once you really understand and are comfortable with the Ads Manager, and you're kind of taking things to the next level where you're working with multiple campaigns, multiple ads. That's really where the Power Editor comes into play. So that's how you navigate around in the Facebook Ads Manager, and I'll see you in the next video.